to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, topics, stipulations, first down, played it. Presenting topics for Kanye to Tom Brady. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Huge news.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
is big news. This is major news in the sense of the NFL and just in general because of what goes on throughout in our society with this type of stuff. We see this every day. The breaking news, and it's all over. It's huge. Robert Kraft is charged with soliciting prostitution.
And here's the
here's the audio of actually a reporter wanting to confirm the name.
It would be Mr. Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots.
Yes, sir.
And what is he being charged with?
He's being charged with the same offenses as the others, and that is soliciting another to commit prostitution.
And how many accounts may he face?
Right now we have 2.
So that would be 2 separate incidences or visits to the Orchids of Asia Day Spa, or 1 visit with multiple charges from that 1 visit?
2 different visits.
What are the charges? What are the charges?
Again, I'll repeat, soliciting another to commit prostitution. And we'll be providing you also with further information after this.
Is there video evidence of his alleged act?
I mean, you heard it there. The reporter was waiting. They were waiting and waiting, and they were really trying to nitpick to try to get the name confirmed. And Robert Kraft soliciting prostitution. Wow. You want to talk about big news right now. I mean, you talk about the Patriots. Anytime something like this happens, it's major news. Whether it's worldwide, it's nationally, and now it's in the sports world. And it's one of the biggest names, one of the biggest owner names in all of sports. You probably put him, other than maybe Jerry Jones and the Buss family and the Steinbrenner family, you're putting Robert Kraft up in that upper echelon
Absolutely. And you can
of
add
owners.
and you can add the Mayer family, and we'll get into that.
The Mayer
and the Rooney family.
Yeah, which we'll be talking in a few. But this is major news going forward, and we're going to see more details. More news is going to come out of this information. How long has this been going on for?
But
I can't believe.
Yeah, but
this.
when you read from the reports, Trev, it's really, and I've seen this before. We had it in our own hometown in North Haven, Connecticut. Yeah. It was on Washington Ave. There was a so-called massage parlor,
and that's what I'm saying.
Where they had a trailer in the back. Where, listen, I'm not going to get into detail, but happy endings. There's, listen,
we know that.
Listen, we're all adults here, okay? We know what goes on with this type of stuff. There's strip clubs. There's things that go on in society behind closed doors that people don't want to make public. This is a public thing. It was an 8-month investigation. IRS was on it. Jupiter Police. You had Palm Beach Sheriff's Department. This is big news because it's Robert Kraft.
It's the name too. It's like exactly. Robert Kraft. Like I just said, the names of the owners throughout sports.
Robert Kraft is right there. And he's married.
And to see this happen, just wow. So you don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to go to jail? What's going to happen?
No, he's not going to go to jail. No, it's a misdemeanor. He's going to be charged with a misdemeanor.
But still, what's going to happen with him with the NFL now? What goes on with that? That's a whole nother issue. And hopefully we get a report from Roger Goodell and the NFL. I would love to hear what they're going to say down the...
Our cousin Bernard, I just read one of his comments on our show.
Whatever.
He just said, guys, Viagra must be going through the roof right now.
The stock must be going... Speaking of stocks, we'll be talking about stocks because of Nike and Zion. But think about it. Goodell... Once he finds out, I want to know what his report is. What's going to happen with it? Is he going to get suspended? Fine. I mean, what happens going forward? This is all questions that can't be answered yet. But right now, major news, breaking news, Robert Kraft charged with soliciting prostitution.
I think the biggest question is, how do we determine it? I mean, it is big news because it's Robert Kraft, the billionaire, the Patriots owner. But it's only been charged in misdemeanor. It's going to be a slap on the wrist. He's going to pay a fine, and that's it. He's going to show up to court.
Well, who knows what happens with the NFL? Yeah, this is
nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen with the NFL. He'll have a talk to from
Ted. This is a serious thing going on in our world.
It all depends what else comes out in this investigation. If it's 2 little things, listen, he had
a serious thing.
He had a sponge bath and and something else.
I mean, he's going to be single probably sooner or later. So.
No, he's worth too much to be single.
I don't know, man. He's been.
You ever seen that? You ever see the thing on Facebook where it's like the guy is single and he's like big and kind of ugly, and he wins like Lotto, ugly, and then there's this beautiful girl.
Don't talk about yourself like that.
You got me. That was silent.
So yes, the breaking news: Robert Kraft is in trouble. He's in trouble. We'll see what goes on going forward. Shifting over to the NFL, we want to talk about dysfunction. I mean, Robert Kraft, I guess, has a little issue with himself, but two teams that have major issues and two of the most well-respected, and we just mentioned it a couple minutes ago, well-respected organizations, we thought run organizations, and the Rooney family and the Mara family, the New York Giants and Pittsburgh Steelers. I came out, and I've already clarified it, that the New York Giants are the most dysfunctional organization in the NFL currently. And you might call me, oh, well, because you're a Giant fan.
Well, then, then you have reason to say so, because we can speak on it, because we are in tune with what goes on the Giants every day. We know what's going on with Landon Collins. There's been rumors for 2 years in a row about Odell Beckham. Now, why would a young receiver, as talented as he is, for 2 years in a row, be rumored for trade?
It's not even that, Ted.
You don't hear nothing.
Ted, it's not even that. It's the case that you look at all the
Eli Manning situation.
That's what I'm. You look at the 31 teams, and there's some sort of direction with them. With the New York Giants, you don't know what the hell they're going to do. You don't know what they're going to do come April with their number 6 pick. Are they going to trade it? Are they going to draft a lineman? Are they going to draft a defensive lineman, a quarterback, a linebacker?
Yes, but did we go through this last year?
No,
did we not go through this last year with the number 2 pick?
They had 2 options. There was 2 options last year.
No, there was more than 2 options.
No,
there was 3 options.
There was 2 options.
There was 3.
They were not going to listen. They were not going to trade. They were not trading that pick last year. They were going to take a quarterback, or they were taking Saquon. They were taking Saquon Barkley. This year,
yeah, but why couldn't they trade back like the Jets did?
Because the New York Giants don't do that. They don't trade back.
I know, but they could have gotten a quarterback still.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
And they would have.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
But look where the Colts are at.
I know
They've got assets.
But they also do have a franchise quarterback. The Giants
they didn't know they had a franchise quarterback because he was coming off a major shoulder injury.
The New York Giants don't know what to do with their quarterback situation. The New York Giants don't know what to do with this whole Odell Beckham Jr. You hear one thing, oh, they're trying to trade him, and then you hear Gettleman come out and say, we're not trading him, we just signed him, why the hell would we trade him? And now you hear the Landon Collins reports, he's done with the Giants, but there's still stuff in his locker room. So when you see the Giants...
Locker.
A locker?
I'm sorry, I was correcting you. Because you always correct me. You said locker room. It's true.
No, but I'm just saying, it's just like, there's no direction with with all these players.
He took his personal stuff. And, Trev, we knew this was coming. We talked about this at the end of the season with the Giants. Landon Collins is due for a new contract. He has outplayed his contract by far when he was chosen by the New York Giants. I remember when the day he got drafted, I don't know if it was you or me, we both texted each other.
No, you texted me and said the Giants traded up, and I wanted Landon Collins in the first round,
and he was supposed to be first round. He was supposed to be.
And they took Eric Flowers. We all know how that panned out, but the Giants ended up trading
another dysfunctional pick.
And the Giants traded up and got Landon Collins, and I loved it. And I don't want, and I think it's, and I see people like, oh, good, get rid of him. He's a bum and all this. I'm like, what? He's the heart and soul of our defense. Our defense isn't good, but he's the heart and soul of our defense.
He's been one of the best safeties in football.
He's had so much responsibility as the Giants' safety.
He's the true leader on their defense, which
I don't want to see him go. I want him being there forever. Now, I want Odell Beckham being with the Giants forever. I want Saquon Barkley being with the Giants forever. I want these players being with them. So when people say, like, oh, get rid of them, that's what frustrates me. And the reason why there's so much dysfunction and there's no direction.
Well, Trev, hold on. But
I'm going to come over there. I'm going to come over there and smack you if you cut me off again. I'm going to come over there.
No, but it's just like regular Giant fans. And we see it. We're part of the Giant fan groups. It's the same thing about Eli. A guy that's the winningest quarterback, has all the records as a Giant quarterback, led him to 2 Super Bowls, and people are like dumping like a bad habit, like he's a nobody.
Well, the reason why
we knew this was coming with Landon Collins. Trev, it comes with everyone. The Dallas Cowboys have a decision. They might do the same thing with one of their best defensive players in DeMarcus Lawrence. The Steelers did the same thing with Le'Veon Bell. We've seen this time in and time out. Landon Collins, I truly believe he will be a New York Giant this year. And he will play under the franchise tag.
Looks good in that big The red, white, and blue with the 21.
I believe the franchise tag is $11 million.
Yes.
It'd be $10 million more than what he's currently making at $1.8 million as a Giant safety. He wants to get paid, and this is the thing. He gets a guaranteed contract for 1 year, but like he said on the report, nothing is ever guaranteed.
Here's what I'm also going to say. The reason why there's no
You want me to read his quote?
No, not yet.
All right.
There's no direction with this Giant team because, let's face it, the New York Giants, they don't want to deal with backlash. Every time, because it's New York, it's the media. If they make a decision, and we already saw a decision that got a lot of backlash from all of us, and that was the Eli Manning benching. And you saw how that turned out. Why do you think Eli Manning is still the Giant quarterback? Why do you think they haven't drafted a quarterback? It's because we have become so faithful to Eli Manning that we don't want to get rid of him.
I also think
The fans.
No, I think
maybe
the
are not as
Giants
faithful anymore.
don't think about. Listen,
But the media is.
I think the Giants listen to too much BS with everyone else. Instead of,
Well, they're afraid of the media.
And I should know about this because I always ask people what do they think or how they, what should I do, instead of just saying what do I want to do. Instead of taking everyone's opinions. The Giants have to make an ultimate decision with Eli. He's due a signing bonus March 17th.
100%.
I know I'm a little bit off. We were talking about Collins, but I think the Giants should ask Manning to take a pay cut. Save some money so we can reinvest.
It'd be nice.
Landon Collins is a true leader on the Giants defense, but I read one of the comments on our Facebook post, and it said he is a liability in coverage. He is. He is a liability. Betcher runs two different defenses. He runs a cover one defense, which, if you're not sure what football means, it means everyone is man coverage, meaning you have this guy, you have this guy, you have this guy, and you stay with him, and they play a one high safety over top, meaning he's able to just roam the field.
Play cover
and
three.
then they play a cover three. And what he does is in the cover three zone is he comes down and plays in the box, which
He's playing
great.
more of his strength.
Now,
more
we saw
for him.
this in the Bears game when he had matched up with Tyreek Cohen. He cannot guard backs out of the backfield, and he had trouble guarding tight ends.
Well, not a lot of people could guard
And you
Tyreek
think
Cohen.
about the tight ends, and Dallas did have Witten. They don't anymore. They have a liability at tight end, but you have Zach Ertz in the division, and you have the Connecticut native tight end from
Jordan Reed?
Jordan Reed. When he's healthy, one of the most athletic tight ends in the game. He is a liability. I think the Giants have to sign him, but it has to be a favorable deal. I think he should play under the franchise tag, see if he can win. But here's the other question mark. He has been injured 2 of the 4 seasons he has finished on the IR. Now, this is what Collins said yesterday. Honestly, I don't want it.
He doesn't want the franchise tag. He stated that.
I know what type of player I am. I'm going to bring forth hard work, talent, playmaking abilities to the game in each game every week. Why would I want a player under a 1-year deal? If something happens, I'm not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Even though I'm guaranteed for that year, I'm still not guaranteed. I understand where he's coming from. We know this what happens with football players. They want what baseball players have. Everyone wants that. You want to know that when you sign the contract, you're never going to get fired. And even if you're going to fire, you're still going to get your money. So that's what it comes down to.
Look, every team has a direction, it seems like. You look at all 31 teams. But as us Giant fans, yeah, you might want to call us a little biased. But hey, you know what? I'm looking at it, and there's really no direction. And it's because the rumors that have been going on, Landon Collins, Odell Beckham, Eli Manning, draft picks, don't know what we're going to do with number 6. Are we drafting a quarterback? Are we drafting O-line or D-line? Are we drafting a linebacker? We don't know what's going to happen with that. There's been so many rumors with that as well. And then the Giant organization is too afraid to deal with the backlash once again. So the New York Giants, to me, without question, are the most dysfunctional team. You know, they have the second least amount of wins in the past 2 years. Other than the Cleveland Browns, they have 8 wins. They're 8-24.
And if you compare the Giants and the Browns, you look at the Browns this year.
They have more promise going forward.
They have their quarterback of the future. They have I sent you on Instagram last night. The 3-headed monster and running back in their backfield is stout, especially
Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Duke Johnson. Great weapons. They got great weapons.
And I don't know if I just told you this. They're 4th in salary cap, so they have room to grow. They have Myles Garrett, one of the best pass rushers. Something the Giants don't have a pass rusher.
You can't say that with the Giants.
They have Jabril Peppers. They have
David Njoku, Jarvis Landry.
And the quarterback they drafted from Ohio State last year.
Denzel Ward. They have weapons all over the field.
So they have offensive weapons. They need to solidify the offensive line. But if you were looking at the Browns and the Giants, you'd say, who's who's in more trouble going forward? It's the Giants. And you would never think about this as a New York Giant fan or as a football fan. You never correlate dysfunction with the New York Giants.
Let's shift over also to what you say. You just said that. You probably would say the same thing probably with the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. And they have some sort of dysfunction going on with their team. They're going to lose Le'Veon Bell. They're going to lose Antonio Brown. That's figured out. But what's going on is Big Ben, man. There's a lot of talk about him throughout. And it's been recently for the bad. And you just see this team has been going downhill, trending downward for the past couple years now. Now, I know they've been highly competitive throughout the AFC and the NFL and being one of the best teams throughout for the past couple years as well. But you just been seeing them going like this, just waiting for that avalanche to just, boom, finally come crashing down. And you see Antonio Brown with all the issues they had, Mike Tomlin not being able to be like a Belichick, not being like a Coughlin, not being like a Don Shula, one of these old-time guys that take no BS from any of these players and have that old school mentality where he's more player friendly. And you're seeing players more take over now.
Well, we knew Bell after last year's season, and
but he was gone.
That's gone.
It's just been going downhill for quite some time now, and now you're seeing it.
We've talked about this multiple times on all our shows for the last 2 years. Every year, the Steelers, they got the big three. Now they got Juju. And they're supposed to be the team that's going to overtake the Patriots. They got all this talent. It's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. All this talent, and where does it go? Nowhere. If you can't maximize your talent, it's worthless. Wasted talent. Nice quote from Bronxdale. Remember that, bud?
How can I forget? It's my favorite movie of all time. I love it.
You're tuned into Keys to the City here at Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, we're callers. We got a lot of people watching us right now.
Well, yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
People want to call in and tell us, give us one of your takes. I mean, there's Giants and the Steelers to me are the two most dysfunctional. But if I had to put on the top of the list, it's the New York Giants, and you could call me biased, whatever you want. That's just my take.
And Trev, this is from some of our guests. Steve Piccarello wrote, "Giants need defense," and I totally agree that they
need a lot.
Can they release him before March 17th, save $6.5 million, and then re-sign him? That probably won't happen because once they release him, he'll be a free agent, meaning anyone will be able to re-sign him. The Giants won't have sure. Patrick Byrne asked, "Do you think Kraft will get jail time?" I answered from my perspective. I said no. It's a misdemeanor. I don't see it being. He's going to get a slap on the wrist.
If I'm Robert Kraft, I'm worried more about what the NFL could do than the legal issues.
Joey Barnes just said nothing worse than wasted talent.
You're damn right, Joey B. Damn right. Wasted talent. It's the saddest thing in life.
And then now you look at the Steelers with Antonio Brown. And the whole perspective of the Steelers, you got the GM talking about, hey, Big Ben's the father of the group. He's got 52 children.
That's the problem right there. You make comments like that, and guess what? You already separated the locker room.
Because they're not kids.
We're not even talking.
They're grown men.
We haven't even hit the actual new regular season, the new calendar season, and they're already making head waves for the wrong reasons.
I just want to bring this up.
This is why Pittsburgh is screwed up right now. This is why they are not going to win.
They're not going to win.
And they're not going to win until Big Ben is out and they make changes.
Because I said to you this morning, I said, we talk about always the big three quarterbacks in this class, Rivers, Eli, and Roethlisberger. Now, with Eli, we knock him because he gives you the, he gives you that
face.
That's
you. That's what you'd like to do. You always like to do the,
and he's not a rah-rah guy. He's very quiet.
He never has been, never will be.
He never seems like a true leader. But in a city in New York where temptation and
Can you
distraction,
imagine Big Ben?
He doesn't. You don't hear anything bad about him.
Never have.
The only thing you've heard bad about Eli and what players have said is
probably a downplay.
Is his play the last couple years has been inconsistent and hasn't been up to where Big Ben and Rivers is. Mm-hmm. Rivers, we knock him because he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he's a rah-rah guy. He gets in your face, but he plays hard.
But you never hear anything bad.
Big Ben, he's been an issue. If you remember, what was it, sexual harassment?
Oh, he had a couple of rape charges.
Then he had the motorcycle accident.
Yeah, he had a couple of rape charges.
It's some charges against women. I mean, you want to speak about leader. Well, then
you wanted him.
Well, then you should have a clean slate.
You wanted him.
Back in the day.
No, you wanted him. You still want him.
You need to have a clean slate. And then to say, everyone that you read on the Pittsburgh, the paper and the Post, Big Ben is the issue.
It's always been.
I put it this way. If Eli Manning was the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, there would not be these same issues. There would not be.
If Eli Manning can handle New York, he can handle anything.
But I'm thinking Antonio Brown.
Everybody wants to point the finger at Antonio Brown. Yeah, he might have been some kind of issues. and Le'Veon Bell. But you know what? It's the two guys at the top. It's the coach and Big Ben that I blame the most of this whole issue, because Mike Tomlin has become so player-friendly and really hasn't taken over as the king. And Big Ben has just calls out too many teammates. He kind of has no filter, and players nowadays don't like that. And you want to be a leader of men? Well, start with doing it in the offseason.
Now, with that proposed,
making smarter decisions.
As we were writing up the show yesterday and talking about, we asked our good friend Pat Clapp, what type of topics? And we asked a lot of our Facebook guests, and we're going to continue to do that. If you have topics that spark your interest, that'll get you to tune in the show or get other people, we'd love to hear it. We're open for all suggestions.
We're open for business.
So one of the things we talked about was free agency, which the season doesn't start for almost another couple weeks, but we talked about Le'Veon Bell, and he sat out last year. What type do you think he gets the contract that he deserves?
First of all, he's 260 pounds right now.
We don't know if that's totally true. If there's a report, then you could see a picture of him.
There's reports out there that he is.
I wrote down, Trev, will Bell get the contract that he wanted or what he set out? And I wrote down a couple teams that I think are possible solutions, and I wrote down sleepers for him. And these are possible teams. All right, and then you can tell me what you think. Of course, I wrote the Colts. I wrote the Colts number one because they have the most money. And it makes it obvious. And they have the quarterback. And there was speculation during the season that he wanted to play with Andrew Luck. And they're in a win-now mode. They get Le'Veon Bell. I know they have Marlon Mack. And they have Nyheim Hines and stuff. But putting Bell with Hilton and that offensive line, which is solid, that would make them a front runner to the Super Bowl. Number two, I wrote the Jets, because the Jets always like to have the back page of the New York Post. They like to make the big noise in the room, and they need to help their rookie quarterback. And that would be the third team is the Ravens. And the reason why I wrote the Ravens is, though they have $50 million in salary cap and Suggs and C.J. Mosley, which they would like to re-sign both of them on their defensive front, they could team him up with Lamar Jackson and have an all-in mode with Le'Veon Bell, Lamar Jackson, and that would be a 1-2.
So now, your question?
I wrote sleepers were Texans and the 49ers.
All right, what is your question to me?
It's not a question.
No, but
what do you free agency? Pat asked. Where do you think he's going to go? What type of teams do you see? What do you think he gets a contract? And if he does, what's the team that's going to pay him? I think the Jets would offer him the most.
He'll get a contract because when in shape and when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the league and one of the best backs in the league. So anytime you can have a weapon of his stature, yes, you're going to take him. It's just the contract is so tough because, the running back market, you just don't like paying. Teams don't want to pay running backs nowadays. But with teams like the Colts and the Jets and the Texans have a lot of money in the cap, then guess what? They can lend out some money and be like, hey, guess what? I'm going to go with it. We need a weapon. I'd love to see him with the Colts, team him up with Andrew Luck, because I'm a huge Andrew Luck fan.
Your sleeper, though, which was great, and when you told me that, it was awesome, was the Kansas City Chiefs.
But it ain't going to happen, but because I know it's crazy.
Because their liability is defense, and defense.
And they want to re-sign D Ford.
And they don't have the salary cap to do so.
They don't really have the salary cap right now, but I would love to see him with Kansas City and just make them talk about
I know. Just a leader of the pack. A leader of the pack.
Not a leader of the pack.
Well, there'd be
a juggernaut. A juggernaut of offenses in the NFL. Boy, would that be a splash.
I'll put it this way and I know we're going to get into it afterwards in baseball because we're talking Manny Machado today and we'll have the great Joe Aguirre on.
The fan favorite Joseph Aguirre is joining us later on to
talk.
But
will this be a situation where, like Manny Machado, does Le'Veon Bell take money from the Jets? Say the Jets offer him the most contract, which I think the Jets will, right?
Yeah.
They are not in a win-now mode. They're not going to win the Super Bowl next year, and they're not going to win next year. It's a 2 to 3 year building. If he goes to the Ravens,
let's be honest,
or he goes to the Colts,
the Jets are not ever going to win a Super Bowl.
If he goes to the Ravens,
all the delusional Jet fans.
Let's finish on this. If he goes to the Ravens or Colts, those are two teams that can win the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, that would be a huge boost for either team. I'd love to see him on the Colts. Help out Andrew Luck because I'm a huge Andrew Luck supporter and fan. I want Andrew Luck to be successful and win a damn Super Bowl. I'd love to see him. We'll see what happens with this. The free agency hasn't even started. It's coming up. Big names out there. A lot of big names. Defensive heavy. The draft and the free agency defensive heavy.
And we're going to get into
You want to win a Super Bowl? Look what the Patriots did. Get defensive players.
Cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, topics, stipulations, first down, played it. Presenting topics from Kanye Yeezy to Tom Brady. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.